Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse AZRAEL Batman Armor, Batman Nightfall. So many different things. This is a gold label figure, only found at Walmart, so good luck with that. A lot of people have been finding them. I had to hunt all over the place to finally get this guy. It's like they're showing up and then disappearing. It's almost like employees are taking them. I don't know, at least according to the website. Either way, this might be McFarlane's best figure in this line to date. There is a lot going on here that's really, really good. There are a few things that are technically terrible. I don't personally mind them as much, but they are valid things to really dislike about this figure. So, I'm going to go over all of it. You can decide for yourself which things are important or which things aren't, but I'm going to tell you everything. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 19 centimeters to the top of his head, not counting his ears, and that's going to make him pretty close to 7 and let's say 3/8 inches. He's got some size to him. It's appropriate though, given the scale of this line and the look of the figure. Now, before we do anything else, we have to do a quick question of the day. How many of you are willing to do slight modifications to a figure to get it, when you get it, to make it look a lot better? Basic question, that's it. You can take from that what you will, answer it to whatever degree you feel like answering. If you feel like talking about all the customizing you do, that's fine. I'm just talking about slight mods. There's one little mod on this figure that's super easy to do that might make you like the figure a whole lot more. That's why I ask. So you guys can let me know how you feel about all of that. Okay, now let's get into the review. First thing I want to do, the reason I bought two because I didn't know if it was going to be in good condition or not, and I was picking them up. I didn't get to see them in person. I bought them from online and then just picked them up. Anyway, you're not going to be able to tell for sure in here, but the way the blister is holding the head, it put dents on my figure's head, and I haven't tried it yet. I'm hoping a little bit of heat will fix it, but there's a dent right here, right there, and then there's one over here as well, and that is most definitely from the blister, the way his head is being pinched in there. So that's super annoying. I hate that. You don't need to pinch the head. Pinch the waist. Pinch the shoulders. Like, the cape's not letting it go anywhere anyway. Don't pinch the head. That's super, super irritating. Okay, so I want to bring the package back because we're talking about the aesthetic. That's the source material. Like, I don't mind the different style changes because it doesn't look like this exact proportioning every time, so that's fine. But the dark blue is definitely an issue. The gold could be golder, and the dark blue should definitely be dark blue rather than light blue. So those are the things that I was saying, like, most definitely you're valid if you don't like that. This sky blue is wrong. However, I personally don't care. I think it looks really cool. I might repaint one to be darker blue, but I still think it looks good. I think the color combination they did here does look good, because the gold is desaturated, and so is the blue. It's a little bit lighter, not just desaturated. I think it works. I think it looks fine. Could it look a lot better or more accurate? Absolutely. Like, as a reviewer, no doubt. Personally, I don't mind. I think it looks cool. The other thing I want to note is the gold they use for the molded parts, the chest and the shoulders, it's super marbly. It doesn't look great. It's not very lustrous, and it's marbly. The gold they use for in here and right here, much better. It's painted. It's not painted well here. You can see the gray coming up on the sides, but otherwise it looks good. Now here's the other problem. There's some right there too. There's virtually zero paint on this guy. Like, virtually none. Right there, right there, right there, and right there. That's it. It's like none, basically. And these are painted, these little gold inserts. So virtually zero paint on this guy. So that's why I was asking how many of you are willing to do minor mods. One thing that would definitely make him look a lot better is to paint his claws silver. They should be silver. They are not. You don't even need to paint them. Go get a silver Sharpie. Those things work incredibly well. Back when I was doing commissions for people, silver Sharpies were the key to making swords look nice. Painting a sword without airbrushing it, very difficult. You could airbrush it, but that's a pain in the butt. Silver Sharpie works. It's almost like a paint marker. It's going to be easy to do. You'll be fine. You could easily paint the claws with a silver Sharpie and you'll be good to go. Now, if you wanted to throw some washes on this guy, that's another thing. He's very, very well textured. Lots of digital sculpting on this guy, probably all of it. There's even some texturing in here. I don't know if it's going to show up because of the bright lights. But definitely a wash A dark gray or a black wash on the gray would look nice. A gray wash right here maybe, or even maybe like a very grayish, slightly bluish gray. That would be fine. Throw like a navy wash on the blues. You could probably get this guy looking pretty damn nice with very minimal effort. So you could do that. But it doesn't come with any paint, so that is another knock. It's fairly well composed in terms of molded parts and things, so it's not a huge deal. Like some other figures look terrible, and the detail work does go a long way to bring it to life. It's not just smooth plastic everywhere, but the lack of paint is a problem. Otherwise, it's really good. The proportioning is awesome. The sculpt is nice and sharp. The head looks great. The cape is a good sculpt. We don't have any weird chunks of plastic or any goofy things happening. It's fine. I think for 20 bucks, this is easily a contender for one of the top figures of the year so far. And we're almost done with the year. This is putting Hasbro to absolute shame. And you guys know I'm not exactly a fanboy for McFarlane toys. This thing is nuts for 20 bucks. Yes, it's missing paint. Yes, there are a few accuracy issues. But no, there aren't enough problems to say it's not incredible for 20 bucks. It's really good. So I'm going to give an aesthetic rating of 8 out of 10, given the inaccuracies and the lack of paint. Those are objective problems. For me personally, it looks great. I like it. Could look a lot better. Accessory-wise, we are lacking. We get our trading card, which demonstrates how inaccurate the figure is. That's a problem. And our display stand. That's it. That is it. So 0 out of 10 for accessories. That's a problem. Big problem. I do also want to point out, McFarlane does do repaints occasionally for this line, of course, but they're doing a lot of new molds. A lot. And I know it's a private company and Hasbro is a publicly traded company, so they have different things that they have to try to do. But still, $20 brand new mold for almost every release, whereas Hasbro's charging almost $30, smaller figures, same mold other than a new head. Like, come on. Hasbro's starting to look silly, if you ask me. Okay, for articulation, we have some ball pegs going on, and they work wonderfully because ball pegs are the best way to articulate a neck. Outside of his collar being in the way, you can pose his head however you want, and it looks great. No problems there. For the shoulders, you do get some play on that peg, and the cap hides it nicely underneath that cape. Could be a little tighter. Definitely not as tight as I would like, but what are you going to do? So that works. Well, it's one of the better ones. Most of them don't do anything, so that's cool. Raising the arm up. You can get it up better than horizontal, but of course this piece here is going to get in the way, but it works. No problem. And then of course your rotation is there other than where the cape is. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow, even with the gauntlet, better than 90 degrees. Still a little bit gappy in here, but it's okay. The wrists have ball hinges that actually work surprisingly well despite the gauntlet, so I like that. That's pretty cool. Our diaphragm joint leans back nicely, and it's sculpted all the way through, and he doesn't have some weird pregnant belly, so it can be done, Hasbro. You don't have to make every figure look pregnant. Granted, this is not an ab crunch, but ab crunches are basically obsolete at this point. Leaning forward, we are quite limited on that top joint. It doesn't have much range at all. Rotation is fine. Side to side is pretty good. Lower ball peg lets him lean back a little bit more. I don't love this, but I'm not sure they could have done too much else with it. So it doesn't lean too far back on that bottom peg. Leans forward a decent amount on that bottom peg, but it's still pretty limited. And then you do get rotation and a little bit more leaning. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not one of the worst by any means. It's probably one of the better articulated torsos from McFarlane. For the hips, going out to the side, it's a little bit loose, more loose than I would like. They really need to fix these hip joints, but basically full-on splits. No dangly bits there, so that's good. That's nice. Going forward, I feel like we should still trim a little bit more away from the diaper, give him more of a Speedo look, and you'd have better range, because right now the diaper's flexing and getting in the way, but you can almost get the leg up to horizontal. Going back, you get a little bit of range. We're going to save the cake rating for now because I want to get the articulation done. Thigh swivel is barely any, almost none. Double jointed knees work nicely, no problems there. Really good range, not a huge gap. One of the figures recently had a giant gap there and I commented on it, and clearly they fixed it because of that comment. No, they didn't, because this would have already been in production, but that's nice. Ankles are on sculpted ball hinges. They look nice the way they've done the sculpting, so that's good. On the side, it doesn't even really look like a hinge, it just looks like a separate chunk. Let's see what kind of range we get. They do go very nicely back and very nice forward. How many positions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 to 5. So it's better, still a little bit too ratchety for my liking, but it works. You get a nice ankle rocker, and you have more positions, so that's okay. Toe hinge is still too far back, but it's not as loose as it has been, so that's okay, it's not bad. I do think the shins could be sculpted a little better. They're very thick right here, and there's no like shin bone. They're very flat on the front. So yeah, articulation's not bad on this guy. For McFarlane Toys, it's one of the better ones, and he's fairly bulky, so in the torso, so I'm okay with it. I'll give it a 7. It's not like it's impressive or anything, but it's fine. You could go 8 if you wanted. It's definitely lacking a little bit, but it's fine. So final verdict on this guy, easily, well, I don't want to say that. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite figures from the line. It probably is my personal favorite, and objectively, it's one of their best. It definitely has flaws, no doubt about it, but what is good more than makes up for it. The proportioning alone makes this guy look so much better than like 90% of the figures they release. This one and the one I just reviewed recently, I don't remember even what it was now. What the heck did I review? Oh, it was the Superman Batman. Both of these, top 2 figures from the line, if you ask me. They look so much better. So I'm going to give this guy a final verdict of 9.5 out of 10. For $20, get the heck out of here. You're not going to beat it. Not even close for 20 bucks. Not with a stick. Wonderful release from McFarlane Toys. Couldn't be happier. Well, I could be happier, but I'm very happy to own it. Throw a little bit of paint on there and you've got yourself a pretty darn nice collectible. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. And if you haven't liked the video, you should. I mean, if you did like it, of course. Don't click like if you didn't like it. Click dislike if you disliked it. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to click that because I have new videos almost every single day. Well, it's every day but Wednesday, and I have thousands of videos already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting. I told you guys I was going to come back for a cake rating, and for those of you who stuck around, you get rewarded for your patience with the cake rating. It's not bad, but it does look a little artificial. The crack is a little bit too defined given the presumed thickness of his outfit, which is based on the texture and the amount of wrinkling. I would say it's not a great cake, but it's not bad. I'll give it a 7. There's some volume, but the detail is just not quite right.